You're listening to Careers and Cocktails, career talk with a twist, hosted by expert recruiter Renee Frey. Let's get this party started.
Hey, party people. Welcome back to Careers and Cocktails. Today, I'm thrilled to be Zooming with one of my most favorite people, Katie Kroll, and she has selected a margarita, which, Katie, we have had so many margaritas on this show, I had to change it up. So I am making mine with reposado.
Ooh, fancy.
So you have to tell me, why did you pick a margarita?
So I feel like it's a little bit like me. You can make it sweet, you can make it spicy, you can make it just fun. But it's just always goes good with like girls and conversation, and they're kind of fun to make, and you can shake it, you can stir it. So I don't know, I've always just loved a good margarita.
I love it. Well, Katie shared her favorite recipe with us, so I'm going to get started to make it. And it's interesting because normally I shake my margaritas on ice, but today we're going to stir it. So I actually have a margarita glass, which this is a Careers and Cocktails first. Normally I make them in the low ball, but I actually dug out my margarita glass. So I'm going to wet the rim with my lime so that I can put this wonderful, it's actually called for 1 tablespoon coarse salt and 1 teaspoon sugar, which I've never put salt and sugar on my margarita glasses, but this could be really exciting.
It tastes delicious.
Okay, so my glass is salted and sugared on the rim. Now we're going to pour in 1.5 ounces. Well, I'm going to cheat a little. I'm going to pour in 1.5 ounces of fresh lime juice. Or no, 1 ounce fresh lime, excuse me. Now I'm putting in 1.5 ounces of tequila. My favorite is Casamigos Reposado. Oh, it's so good. I love Casamigos.
Is that George Clooney made or whatever?
Yeah,
is that
George
his?
Clooney and his buddy.
Yes.
Well,
I've had it.
love tequila. Tequila is my favorite spirit. Did you know that?
No, I didn't, but I know it's like becoming very popular. I want to go like to Mexico and go do some tequila tasting.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I drink tequila straight. I love tequila.
Ooh, get it, girl.
Okay. So we've got the tequila in. Now we need 1/2 ounce of orange liqueur, and I chose Grand Marnier.
That's my fave.
So we'll throw that in. Oh, what's going on here? The cork broke. Hold on.
Oh no.
Technical difficulties here.
Hey, that's real life.
It's real life. But guess what? I can navigate anything.
I know you can.
Oh my God, I just don't want cork in my drink. All right, we'll see how this goes. Okay, 1/2 ounce of Grand Marnier. And then simple syrup. I have the trusty simple syrup you can buy. I don't make my own simple syrup. And the simple syrup
People
is...
do that?
What?
Do people really make their own?
Well, your recipe, it showed you how. The one you sent
No.
me.
I cheat sometimes.
And we need 1.5 tablespoon of simple syrup. So this doesn't have a cork, so I'm okay. Okay, I'm pouring it all in. Is that everything? Oh, it does
You
say...
got the lime juice ready?
Yeah, it's already in there. Well, I'm stirring.
Okay.
It says stir, so I'm stirring it, and then I'm going to add the ice.
Perfect.
Get my
So I
ice.
cheated because I just walked in the door from work. So you're going to be mad at me, but I cheated. And every once in a while, I keep these on hand.
You
Outside, but
can do that.
I can't let you drink alone.
No. Okay, I got that. And now, so I got my ice in, and I'm garnishing with the lime. Cheers.
Cheers.
So
Isn't
good.
it good?
It's
I
so
think it's
good.
the fresh lime juice, honestly.
Well, and the reposado, so it just takes it up a little bit. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, so Katie, what can we celebrate for you this week?
Well, I think with the kids going back to school in this virtual hybrid world we're living in, I'm a mother of 4. And it's busy time of season right now with us at Northwestern Mutual trying to get back to planning and getting ready for 2021. So it's just really busy and trying to navigate, campuses changing and how they're working. So personally and professionally, just getting through the week, getting my kids back to school and still trying to figure out how to navigate this world that we're living in. So I feel like that's a victory.
Right. Well, cheers to being flexible and adaptable, Katie.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So give us your elevator pitch. Who are you?
Who am I? Well, if we're going to go the professional route, because we're talking about careers here, my elevator pitch would be, I am somebody who helps other people reach their personal and professional goals and true desires, and helping them in different ways on a financial side, but also in their business professional side of getting their businesses off to a fast start, but creating their own true desires and making sure that their true goals and dreams do come true.
I love it. And pretend I'm a kindergartner. What do you do for a living? I need the simplest terms ever.
I love it. So I would say if I was talking to even my youngest daughter, when she asks me what I do all the time, I tell her I just help other people succeed in life. And that could mean different things. To an adult, obviously that means, professionally and helping people as a business coach or a talent acquisition coach. But really I just help people. And that can mean different things to different people. But to my daughter, it always seems to solve the question. So
I love it. Okay, Katie, we're going on a party bus. If you could pick anyone to join us, who is coming with, but they have to be alive today?
I love that you pick a party bus, because I've heard this question before, but it's like, hey, like who would you want to hang out with? But I'm like, who would I want to party with is way different. So I truly believe in some other life I was a Southern girl. I just love, I would love Miranda Lambert. I go a little bit old school, like Reba McEntire.
Oh, we've been going country.
Yes, and I love country. But I just love Southern women. So I would just probably pack it full of some Southern women and some cowboy boots and a cowboy hat.
Awesome. I'd have to get some cowboy boots because I don't own any.
Yeah.
But I'm glad
we need to take you shopping.
Yeah, I need some.
Yes.
Katie, you are an expert interviewer. How do you determine the questions you ask candidates for the specific roles that you're hiring for?
Yeah, our team hires for multiple different roles. And so, we have different criteria and questions that we ask each candidate depending on that role. But I think they're always evolving too. Even right now in COVID, I definitely think that some of our questions that we're asking are things that have evolved from even things that we last asked in 2019. And even before that, like with millennials and Generation X, I think we kind of change and evolve our questions on the marketplace and just kind of the demographic of people that we're trying to bring in. So we are always looking at that. It's always evolving. We're working, with consultants and things like that to make sure that we're asking the right questions. We're in a marketplace that has 19 Fortune 100 companies in the metro area. We have lots of competition. So we want to make sure that we're asking the right things and selecting the right talent.
Yeah. And you are an expert at identifying great talent. How do you do it?
I honestly, I think it really comes down to just my network of people. And I'm always looking to help other people. I never have my own agenda. And I hope that they come and work at, our company and I can place them somewhere within our organization. But if I can't, I just want to help people. I want to help them reach their professional goals because I know in return that's going to help them reach their personal and financial goals. And so I just want to help people. So if I have great people like you in my network and I know that you're a great person and you can help people too, or if it's other individuals I know at different companies or in different industries, I want to help. So I just love being like a talent scout, if you will.
Yeah, I love it because I've benefited from you saying, hey, this person doesn't want to work for us, but she would be a great recruiter. And we've benefited tremendously from that. So how do you know though, like, oh, this person would be great doing this, or this person, how do you know that, Katie, from your years of experience?
Honestly, yeah, some of it might be intuition, but it really comes down to asking good questions and really just listening, because people will tell you what they really truly desire if you ask the right questions. And it's not just sometimes just asking like the blanket question, it's digging deeper and going even a little bit further. So you might ask a simple question, you know, like, tell me more about that. And they might say X, Y, and Z, but you might pick something up from what they just told you. And then I'll come back because I can tell their body language changed or like their tone changed. And so like something in that statement that they just told me got them excited. So I'll go back and I want to hear more about that, because then they're really going to tell me what they truly desire and what they really want in life. And so one of my favorite questions is, you know, like, where do you see yourself 5, 10, 15 years from now? Because that's going to also help us see like what they're envisioning for themselves. So it's not just a short-term Band-Aid of a hire. It's really trying to place them with something that they can see themselves growing and feeling that they're valued and that they're excited about.
Which I love. I love that. I love that question. That's a great question. So tell me, are you, when you're interviewing a candidate for a role, do you put on the stoic face, or do you get really real and you make them feel comfortable?
I try to get really real because I want people to try and be the most authentic that they can. And I've been in interviews where I walk in and the person's very stale and not very welcoming. My office should be like my home. I love to host. I love to entertain. I want people to always feel comfortable. So I really try, at the beginning to really just have some icebreakers, just small talk. It's not like I really ask questions. There's no agenda. I'm just trying to get to know them. And I might take some mental notes about that, but really I just want to kind of break the ice. Because I find like if you go right into some questions and it's like the generic questions you ask, like, tell me about yourself, versus like, hey, I noticed this, or just trying to talk about their hobbies or things that you noticed from their resume, or maybe somebody on my team went and did some research and got some information from their social media sites, like things that I feel like I could be relevant with them. I try to bring those up so just we break the ice, because then I feel like people are going to be more authentically themselves, which for what I've learned is that makes up for a better interview.
I agree. And I commend you for being yourself, because I can't stand people who change into this persona of being stoic to try to like stonewall the candidate. I hate that approach, because if that's really what you're like at the office, no one's going to want to go work for you. You know what I mean?
No, because they should be, interviewing you and recruiting you just as much as you're recruiting them. So you want them to feel comfortable, and you want to look at this and create the culture that you guys are actually providing. And somebody once told me, like, it's really hard to like kind of change who you are. So just be authentically yourself at all times. So I try to lead by that. I try to recruit like that, develop like that, just be myself, because then I know that I'm true to my core values.
That's why you're so great, Katie. Cheers to that.
Aw, cheers to that.
Okay, I want to go back though. How much time do you utilize? Like, just, there's no police audit here, but how many minutes do you use to break the ice, or is it dependent on the individual you're interviewing?
I've been asked this by so many people, just even in like my own office, like, how long do your interviews take? And, like, what questions do you ask? And I used to, when I first started recruiting, I had an agenda like through and through, and I followed it like a book, because I was nervous, because I probably wasn't comfortable yet, like trying to, be a talent scout and select the right people. But now that I have some, experience and knowledge under my belt, it's given me some confidence. And I really just let the conversation kind of ride, because if I'm interviewing somebody and I'm asking them just a question after question after question, and I feel like I'm just drilling them for answers, that's not a good interview. And I'm going to say, probably not a good fit. But naturally, if we're just, talking and having conversation, it just feels like it flows. I feel like that's a great interview. And I feel like, I'm going to ask the questions. I might, take one of my old questions. I might, do one of the new questions that we put out there, but I know enough questions because I've interviewed enough to just kind of let them, conversation flow. And then sometimes it, takes, 10 minutes. Sometimes it feels like the whole conversation is just not an interview. And I really enjoy that. So I never put a time frame on it. Actually, my clock is broken in my office right now and I fixed it. I don't want to, because it's always, and I know we need to be, you know, punctual and professional. I try to be on time, but it's almost like my internal clock like knows when it's coming up to like that hour and a half, you know, hour. But I try not to put a time limit on a good conversation.
I love that. So you said you were nervous interviewing before, which I assume a lot of hiring leaders are, but a lot of them don't admit it. So appreciate your vulnerability. And you said over practice helps you, but what else? Like, what other tactics can you share with some of the hiring leaders listening so they're not nervous when they have to interview candidates?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things. I think, I mean, you know, knowledge and experience gives you confidence. I mean, that's a true thing. So reading, I love to read. So I think reading helps. I also think like shadowing somebody, and doing joint work. So if there is somebody that you look up to, not even in your company, it could be somebody outside your company. Like Renee, I've looked up to you as a recruiter. So like just picking somebody else's brain. Aw, it's true though, but you learn from other good people. So like just even, you know, taking somebody out for coffee and just asking them questions like, what do you ask in interviews? Like, how do you run your interview? Sometimes you learn more from reaching outside of your company than you do sitting in your company. So it comes back to networking and just making sure that, you know, you're reaching out to people and asking good questions. But reading and getting, you know, polished up on your practice. So like I used to practice and record myself and say, okay, this is an interview, and I would record like somebody was talking and how I talk with my hands, and maybe to talk less with my hands, and how I smiled enough just to make sure that they felt welcome. But I definitely think practice does make perfect, and the experience and knowledge will obviously give you that confidence. So read and just do joint work.
I love it. Shadow other people interviewing, video yourself. Like, how awesome is that? Thanks for all those tips. Okay, let's go dig a little bit deeper though. So you are comfortable with interviewing now, and you probe for more details, and you go back when you want additional information from the individuals. Tell me, what are the total turnoffs in an interview? Like, what should job seekers or candidates never ever do?
Yeah. Late always gets me. I have 4 kids, and I am like, when people are late, like it's so rude in my opinion. Like my parents always taught me, like you are like 10 to 15 minutes, otherwise you're late. So if you are supposed to be somewhere at noon, like you're there at 11:45, 11:50, like then you're on time and you're prepared. So if people show up late, like I already have like a sour taste in my mouth, because no, there's good reasons why people are, but I want you to acknowledge it. So don't just try to act like it didn't happen, like just acknowledge it, because I like people being truthful. The next thing is when people don't come in with anything. Like I not only come in with nothing, but like haven't done any research. Like I, again, believe that you're recruiting us just as much as we're recruiting you. This is a partnership. So you should know about the company. You should know about the position you're applying for. And did you actually like read the job description? And so when you're talking with me in conversation, we can talk about, hey, you picked up on like, this is some of the qualifications, and you bring that up in conversation. I know that you planted that. That's a good interviewer. So, or interviewee, I should say. So like when they don't come in with anything, don't take notes, don't know anything about the company, I think that's kind of a big turnoff. And then the last one, I definitely think, is when people bring their cell phones in to an interview. I've had that happen, and I literally at one time was like, excuse me, I'm always present where my feet are at, and I would appreciate if you did that too. So could you please put your phone away? Like that is just, it's uncalled for, it's unprofessional. But literally was like looking at their phone.
Are you kidding?
And I was like,
during the interview?
Yeah, during the interview. And I was like, hey, maybe I'm not bad today, but that was just rude. So that's a huge no-no.
Right. Okay. So don't show up late. Do your research. Tie your experience in with the job description, and leave your cell phone in the car. We all have glove boxes. Leave it in the car. Have you ever had a cell phone actually go off? Like,
you know, I can't remember for sure of that, but I definitely have had somebody look at their phone while we were talking, and I was like, that's just rude. Like, people are so attached to it. It's, yeah.
You're not hired.
Exactly. I'm like, if you can't even have an attention span to sit through 45 minutes, like, yeah.
I know, right? That's to me so disrespectful. Okay, you interview a ton of new college grads. What are the general characteristics you're looking for in these grads since they don't come, some of them don't come with a lot of experience?
Yeah. So that's a big one. Like especially in our industry, like it is a high capacity internship and even career. And so I look for people who have capacity. So when I'm looking at their resumes, like they might not have had other prior internships, but I want to see what they're involved in, what their extracurriculars are. I will say this, like if somebody's just going to college, that's not enough anymore. You got to be involved in other things. Like, are you putting yourself out there? Are you raising your hand and taking initiative? That shows me that you're a doer. That shows me that you put effort in. It shows me that you have capacity, and so you can handle some good workload, and hopefully with a good attitude. So I'm definitely looking for people that have capacity on their resume in some fashion. And again, it doesn't mean you have to have a past prior internship, but you can be involved in a club or something on campus or have a part-time job, if you will. So those are definitely things that I look for. But I also do reference checks. And I think, I preach effort and attitude all the time. And it's a controllable thing that both of them are controllable. And so I want to know about people's character. And so that's really important to me because one bad egg can break a really good culture. And we're all culture keepers, right? We're all responsible for the culture in which we provide in our work environment. So, but I'm the one bringing that talent. So I want to make sure that they have great character. And I think you can read a little bit on that in a resume, but more so by going back and following up on references and knowing that they give great attitude and bring good effort.
I love it. Tell me, have you ever had anyone give you a bad reference?
Yes, but it's so hard nowadays. Like, they want to like say something, but then they're just like, you say the person's name and I'm calling for a reference and, I'd like, is there anything that you can tell me or would you hire them again? And they're like, no. And then you want to like, prod it a little bit, probe it, but they can't tell you anymore. So, you got to ask the certain questions where it's the roundabout way. But you can pick up on the first like couple minutes that, reading their tone on the phone that, yeah, they definitely wouldn't recommend that person.
Right. So job seekers, you are in control of who you give for your references. Always give people that would give you high accolades.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm surprised more people don't think of that, or they maybe just think that they were that they wouldn't get a bad reference. But
yeah,
I'm like, don't you put some thought in that before you like put their names down on a piece of paper?
Right. Those people are not strategic, not getting hired.
No.
Okay.
Not detailed.
Think about the last rock star you interviewed and how did they stand out?
Honestly, in this world that we're living in, talking to people is like almost becoming a lost art. So when I said earlier about just having that conversation and it didn't feel like an interview, that's when I know that like that was a rock star. Like honestly, like I can train a lot of other things and so can the team around me, but you can't train people how to interact with other people. And so for a rock star, honestly, it's when I'm sitting down and I walk out of that and I'm just feeling good. Like that was just a great conversation. And it's because they asked me good questions. They were prepared. They were fun to talk to. And there's somebody that, we want as a culture keeper in our office. There's somebody that like, yeah, they're going to be an asset to our already amazing culture. And I could guarantee even after one interview, they're going to go shine in the next one. And so my team is being set up for success in a good interview because that one just rocked. So it really comes down to just being able to communicate with people.
I love that. And I love your phrase, culture keepers. I love that phrase. Mm-hmm. Everyone needs to have culture keepers. We have to protect our cultures.
Mm-hmm. It's very important.
How are you interviewing during COVID, Katie?
So I've been back in the office. I'm home today, but I've been back in the office since June 8th. We just opened our doors September 1st to start like letting some clients in and some interviews. However, we're not bringing in a ton yet. It's just more of people like prefer that. So we are doing all virtual, which is at first was, a learning curve, but now it's great. Like I feel like we're pros at it now. So a lot of it's, Ring Central, GoToMeetings, Zooms, things like that. But once we're very serious about a candidate, we do still want to bring them in because there is, I believe, so much value in like seeing the work environment that you're provided, meeting people, especially like your leadership team, and just seeing them face to face. It's, to me, just a very important piece that we don't really have in this virtual world. When we interview, this many people, but we get down to the funnel of people that we're, going to offer, and hopefully that they accept, those are the individuals that we'll bring into the office and show them around, give them a tour, have them meet people. But mostly everything else is all virtual.
Got it. And any tips you have for job seekers during COVID?
I think we got to be creative, honestly. Like, I was just talking this morning with one of our interns, actually, and just how I've had to reimagine and rethink even my approach in selecting talent and finding talent than I have in years past, because I love to personally connect with people. So I love going to coffees, and I love to go to campus, and I love the events and things like that. Now they're having this virtual, but I shine way more in person. So this has been a little bit of a struggle for me, not having the people interaction. I'm a hugger and a good handshaker. So I've had to reimagine it a little bit, but I don't know if it's going to work because it's just starting out. But it really comes down to just making sure that you're, thinking abundantly, that you are thinking outside the box. Everybody else is doing it too. So even if you're working with people on campus, they're doing, career fairs virtually. It's kind of crazy. My first one's next week. We'll see how it goes. But I've had virtual coffees, and I've invited actually numerous people. I call it Coffee with Katie, and we just invite people into it. And it's just a way to network and still bring in like my center of influences, people that I look up to, together. And so then they're meeting other people too. So that's just a creative way to be connected to other people, in hopes that they know great people that they can refer in. Because I think Indeed and all those work, the social sites work, but I believe that a really good, strong connection is by knowing somebody. Just like the old school ways of, it's all about who you know. So
absolutely. Well, and cheers to surviving through all this, because I'm just like you. I'm an in-person hugger, great handshaker, eye contact person too.
I know. What are you doing? What are you guys doing?
Well, we've been back in the office because we're in Wisconsin.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of my client meetings or networking is happening all via Zoom, because we support companies all across the nation. And then our candidates have been interviewing. Everyone's moved virtually. But I have a couple clients who had some cool, one client in Ohio grouped their employees in group A and group B, and then they alternate each week. So one, like say this week, group A is in the office, next week, group B is in the office, and they alternate like that so they can still have the in-office FaceTime, which I thought was really creative. So I love hearing what all the companies are doing.
Yeah, that's very creative. I mean, you come into our office and there's tape everywhere 6 feet apart. So like, if we stand at the front desk, like where 6 feet is, you come into my office and I got blue tape on the ground that shows like 6 feet away. And we've gotten creative.
I agree. I'm just glad we can still work. I don't care. Just let me work.
Me too. Yeah.
I'll do whatever you want. I'll wear the mask. I'll stand away.
This doesn't work.
Yep. So do you ask any unusual, like off the wall questions to candidates? Like, what's your favorite animal, or what's your favorite tree?
I used to do more of that. And I think when it is a good conversation and a good interview, like I definitely will just ask some of those things. But I mean, maybe not even off the wall, but like, I think, just what's your favorite things to do? What's the silliest thing you've ever done? What's your most embarrassing moment? Because I think that helps people be like vulnerable and kind of could, cut the ice a little bit. But I don't ask a ton of those.
Okay.
But I bet you do, don't you?
No, I don't. But I have clients. I have clients who ask, what's your favorite animal? And I'm like, okay, Mr. Senior Director, what are you trying to get out of those questions? And he's like, I don't know what they were trying to do. He goes, I want to know if they can think and speak on their feet. So he didn't care what the answer was. He just wanted an answer in real time so that he could see, oh, okay, they can think and speak on their feet.
Well, if you're asking me, mine's a manatee. I love manatees. They're my favorite animal.
Oh, I love it. But going back to the off the wall question, you said something that made me think of something. Oh, what's their most embarrassing moment? So what's the craziest thing someone shared with you?
Oh my gosh. One lady said that she actually peed her pants. She was waiting for an interview and she didn't want to be late. And so she was sitting in the waiting room or whatnot. And then when she was walking back, she happened to sneeze and she wet herself. And she was like, I was so embarrassed because she had a skirt on or like a dress. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, and we were laughing so hard, but like, it just brought like us so much closer. And she is in our office in some capacity. I'll never reveal her name, but she's amazing.
Oh my gosh, I would die if I pissed my pants.
I know. Hey, it's what those babies do to you.
Oh, I know, but go ask for a restroom. Where's the restroom? I need a minute for the restroom before the interview.
Yeah,
oh my
please
God.
don't do that. We'll let you go to the bathroom.
Everyone will let you go to the bathroom or get a drink of water if you need it. Trust me.
Exactly.
Katie, where do you get your inspiration from?
I think a lot of it is probably the people I surround myself with. Like I surround myself with very positive, empowering women and that want me to succeed and who push me to succeed because they're successful. And success means different things to different people. So one of my friends is like the best stay-at-home mom. And I think she's like the greatest mom in the whole wide world. And she inspires me to be a better mom. I have a friend that's very faith-based and faith is very, important to me. And so I look at her and I look at, wow, she, really makes that a priority. So it could be not just in my professional life, like it's all around, like people that just inspire me to be a better person because I always feel like we can continue to be better and show kindness. And so I just try to surround myself with great people because birds of a feather flock together kind of thing. Oh, yeah. But then I look at, yes. And then I love to read, like Brene Brown, like Rachel Hollis, great people, listen to their podcasts and they just like inspire you and motivate you. And like, I can be better. I thought I was good, but I can be better. So I just think always trying to empower myself to do more and be more.
I love that. And I love Brene Brown. And my favorite quote is the Jim Rohn quote where he said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. I think about that every single day.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. And as we get older, it's funny, like how like our friends, change and people come, it's like seasons, but there's always those ones that you just like will never let go of. Because they're like the core of you almost, but there's other people that kind of, filter in and out in different seasons, but and change, but there's those core people that are always around you.
Well, and I got to ask you this about your core, because what I've found is Dustin and I met this great core group of friends, and it's like we've all grown together. We met early in our professional lives, and we've all grown together. We have similar lifestyles, and it's just crazy that it was kismet, right? It was destiny. Mm-hmm. So have you experienced that too? Is those core people like grow with you?
Yes. Like I definitely, there's a few of my friends from even elementary school that are still, there's 4 of us and 1 being me. So there's 3 of them, but we are still tight. We don't see each other hang out all the time, but when we do get together, it's like time never passed. But then I look at the life, like what you just said, Renee, and like as my kids get older and we like meet friends and we're all kind of in the same life stage, so we're in the same season together, they've just become like amazing. Like our River Falls community, like I have so many great friends here and it was like destined to be, right? But I still have those people that have kind of went through my whole life with me too.
Yeah, I love that. So where can everyone find you, Miss Katie Kroll?
Yes, well, you can find me on LinkedIn. I am easy to be connected to on there. Also, Northwestern Mutual Minneapolis on Facebook. We have a great team that does some great social media posts and they answer there and also on Instagram too. So you can message us on there as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you for all the value you've shared, Katie. You are so great. And I'm always cheering you on, girl. Cheers.
Oh, ditto. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are thrilled to have made a worldwide impact with listeners in 9 different countries. If you've enjoyed this conversation, please be sure to subscribe to Careers and Cocktails on YouTube and drop us a review on your favorite podcast app. If you're looking to update your resume or you're stuck in your career, I'm designated by LinkedIn as the top resume writer and career coach expert. I even created a resume and e-learning course to help you if you want to do your own resume. It's super simple and extremely affordable. Go to careersandcocktails.com to learn more. I also wrote a book called I Hate Mondays for all of you job seekers who hate your jobs and want to love your Mondays. You can go there for the same information. And of course, I am up to so much valuable information sharing that for you hiring leaders, if you want to find the secrets to finding the best talent, I have a hiring guide at careersandcocktails.com as well. I am here to share information and help people love what they do. Until next time, cheers.